Well, good afternoon and welcome to our Instagram Live Q&A. My name is Matt Van Winkle here with the Iowa State University Alumni Association. While we wait for people to sign on, I'm going to introduce our guest today who really doesn't need much of an introduction. Georges Niang is in his fourth year in the NBA where he currently plays for the Utah Jazz. Before being drafted with the 50th pick in the draft back in 2016, George became a fan favorite at Iowa State. While in Ames, he became the first player in school history to reach 4 straight NCAA tournaments and was the first two-time All-American at Iowa State. Hey, George.
Yo, okay, look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that. That's looking good.
That's the old Cy, man. What do you think of him?
Legendary. Legendary.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Sorry, I was late. We just
No worries.
had a couple workouts.
No worries, man. How are you today?
Oh, I'm great. Waking up, feeling good. Finally kind of getting into the groove of things a little bit.
Yeah.
Post COVID-19, so it's been pretty solid.
That's right, man. Well, hey, congratulations on all that you've accomplished so far in your young career. What's it kind of been like for you to kind of live out your dream, man, of playing in the NBA?
Oh man, it's been amazing, to be honest with you. I couldn't imagine doing anything else, especially at this time in my career, and I love waking up and getting to do what I love. Obviously Iowa State was a huge part of my growth as a man and as a basketball player, so I owe a lot of credit to the people at Iowa State and the people that supported me there, because it really made the transition to professional basketball pretty seamless.
Yeah. What's it like to see a lot of your former teammates there in the NBA with you as well? It's pretty cool, huh?
Man, it's amazing.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, obviously I was lucky enough to play with, I think it was 5 or 6 guys that have played in the NBA. And I just remember all the times that, we've been in the Suka practice facility, whether if it was late nights, early mornings, right after class, right before practice, and just seeing how much work all of us put in, and for all of us to achieve and reach our goals. I think that says something about, the university and, the character of the guys that they bring in. So to the point, where we can, I don't want to say carry the torch, but, push our profession to the next level and be as successful as we can.
Yeah, for sure. So you've been in the league, this is your 4th year, right? You were drafted with the 50th pick back in 2016, right?
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
So
what was your kind of like your I made it moment? Was it being drafted? Was it your first game? What was your kind of your moment for that?
To be honest with you, I was talking to someone about this the other day. When I was growing up, I always had a dream of playing in the NBA, but my goal was always the next thing. So when I was in high school, it was like to get a high major offer. Then when I committed to Iowa State, it was to play as a freshman, then start as a freshman, then be all conference, then all Big 12, then all American, then try to be player of the year. Then it was get drafted, and then at that point, I never envisioned myself. I just envisioned getting drafted. So when I got drafted, it was almost like I was 50% like I made it, and 50% I want to, continue to strive to be better. And I didn't put enough time into my vision of what I wanted to be after getting drafted, which is part of the reason why I wasn't successful, my first year. Because I wasn't looking at the next step. I was more like, I made it to the NBA. I'm good. And I kind of made my draft night kind of like I made it. And after that, it kind of humbled me to get back to how I was growing up and just continuing to work for the next thing and continue to be happy with where I was at, but even hungrier to go even further.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the NBA's been temporarily suspended. The season's been kind of suspended due to the pandemic. So what have you kind of been up to these last few weeks and months?
Oh man, I did a lot of eating early on. I've kind of gotten back into the swing of things with getting a routine back, working out, trying to eat healthy. I'm out in Utah, and obviously it's real scenic out here, so I've done a lot of hiking with a couple of my teammates, getting out on walks every night, and it's kind of bittersweet because obviously it took away basketball and it took away real life, but it kind of opened up other things in my life that, I've been able to, see and enjoy. I have a podcast that I do called the Drive and Dish that's on YouTube that the Jazz has helped me produce. I've been able to, get on other people's podcasts. But I think the best thing is I've been able to get out and enjoy the world, whether if it's nature or hikes or being on top of a mountain. And it really kind of got me back to appreciating the little things, about life, the things that, money can't buy, and just stuff that's really just priceless.
Yeah, for sure. Well, this whole kind of pandemic in the NBA at least kind of started with your team, right? The first player in the NBA to test positive was on your team. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying you were kind of right in the heat of it, right in the middle of it. So what was that kind of like? Was it a little bit scary to have someone on your team? What was going through your mind?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy, to be honest with you. Honestly, just because we didn't know what we know now back then. So it was, am I going to survive? What is going to happen? Am I, someone that's a silent carrier who doesn't have any symptoms? Are we going to be able to get out of Oklahoma? I mean, as great as the state is, guys want to be able to handle this at home, and I don't want to say around their families, but be in the comfort of their own home. And then you kind of worry about, the people around you. Am I going to be able to keep them safe? Then Joe Ingles is on here talking smack. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. But you just kind of, the unknown is really what hurts everybody. And, mentally it was challenging for us. And I told someone the other day, I was like, basketball has been my whole life for a long time. And usually when I tune basketball out, I have like a real life to enjoy with family and friends. And then that was taken away. So for like a couple of weeks, I was kind of caught in a rut of, just wanting to get out of this world to just somewhat have a sense of normalcy.
That's your teammate, isn't it?
Yeah, he is. She's a trip.
There you go.
Oh my God. No, I'm not going to get donuts. I'm on a strict diet.
That's right. Hey, so you've been, like you said, you've been doing this web series with the Jazz called, is it Drive and Dish? What have you enjoyed about doing that?
Just having a greater appreciation for people that deal with media.
Sure.
The amount of research and different things that go into the everyday grind of trying to get a good interview, get good content. Sorry, I can't stop looking at the comments. But it just kind of gave me a great appreciation, and it kind of, tapped me into, really having a passion, whether that's in broadcasting or podcasting. Mm-hmm. Just something new that I could, kind of fall in love with and come to grips with and really just enjoy myself while I couldn't play basketball or enjoy real life.
So the Jazz fans, I don't know who came up with this, but they've kind of coined you the minivan. How do you feel about that?
It's funny. The story behind that is just I was put in the game last year, and I had a chance to go up and dunk it, and I didn't. My teammates were giving me a hard time when I went back to the locker room. And I told them, and I was like, listen, I'm not, like a Ferrari engine like the rest of you. I'm more like a minivan. It takes me a couple laps around the block to get going.
That's good. I didn't know that. That's a good story. So let's go back to maybe your time here as a student at Iowa State. So you got your degree in marketing, right? We actually got a question on Twitter from David Kilzer. He wants to know, how have you used your marketing degree as an NBA player? We kind of went over some of it, but you've been in some commercials, right? And
yeah, I mean, I think you kind of use that stuff every day. You are kind of your own brand, right? And when I was in school, I was learning about how to, how other brands marketed off their product. And, when you're a professional athlete, you're kind of the CEO of, your own company. So you kind of have to, in everyday activity, you're introducing yourself and possibly having an opportunity to make money, to make relationships down the line that could eventually make money, and do stuff that's beneficial to you. So the biggest thing that I learned is, treating other people the right way and coming off in a professional manner. And, going forward, it really helped me, like you said, land commercials, land gigs with dealerships out here, or just small gigs, whether if it's on, a podcast or, a radio interview or a radio show. It really helped me. There was a class that I took, I want to say it was marketing 340, 335, I'm not sure what it was, but we were asked to go out and interview people in Iowa that had, Caterpillar or cat products, whether if it was a combine, and do the same thing with John Deere, and get their feedback and what they liked, the person who was coming to sell them, what they'd like them to say, to persuade them to buy their product. Yeah, so at the end of the semester, we would have to come back and actually present what we had learned from, the customer to the actual sellers at John Deere and Caterpillar. And it kind of helped me realize, that, what information I have to give out to other people to make them interested in what I have to offer. And, like I said, I'm the CEO of my own company. So whether if it's on Instagram, whether if it's on Twitter, the content and information that I'm putting out is stuff that I want myself to make myself look good and genuinely who I am. I don't want myself to just be a billboard of, oh, this guy's always advertising something. But genuinely, the interest that I have and who I am as a person might interest other people, and do a good job of putting that out there and helping people understand who I am. Because, maybe there is a money deal that people, want to get involved with me, or there's a relationship that people want to have with me that may be beneficial for me down the road.
Yeah, for sure. You had a really special connection with the fans here at Iowa State as a player, and that's kind of continued on into your NBA career. What was it about the fans here that you connected with so well?
Iowa State is such a unique place, right? It's been special to me since the day I stepped foot on campus as a recruit. And, I think everybody has this genuine love for seeing other people be the best and achieve their goals and bring happiness to all, right? So I was telling someone, when you work as hard as you do at what you love, you do it to be, appreciated, but you also do it for yourself. But the appreciation that the Iowa State fans, give you, and the love, there's nothing like it. I mean, I don't even think I could put it into words. My time at Iowa State was a great one on the court, but it was even better off the court. The relationships I made, the people I got to meet, and they were genuine people. They didn't want anything out of me but to see the best, happen for me. It wasn't like, hey, I did this for you, you owe me. And you rarely find that in the world. And for me to be an 18-year-old kid and walk into that and be loved and appreciated and be around people that, are normal just like me. I know a lot of people be like, well, you were this at Iowa State, you were, an All-American, but I'm the same normal person that wakes up and goes to Casey's General Store and eats breakfast pizza. You know what I mean? And they never made me feel uncomfortable. They made me feel like I was one of them, and that's, all I ever really wanted. And the amount of love and support that they showed, whether if it was flying down to Destin, Florida, to watch us play in a Christmas tournament, or Kansas City to watch us win a big 12 championship. They were always there to support, and I can't ever thank them enough. It was just a great experience that I had, and I will always call Ames home, and I will always get back there and love and appreciate my time. The off season is my favorite when I can get back to Ames and be with my people. I always say the people of Ames and Iowa are always my people.
And you still do an annual basketball camp and a golf fundraiser each year, right? Are you guys still planning that for this year? And kind of talk about what that's meant to you to be able to do those.
Yeah. We're trying to make that happen. But obviously, with everything that's going on, it's a little more difficult. So we haven't really pinned down whether, we're going to continue to do it. We're trying to find different ways to, to work around, out of the restrictions. But we'll have a decision probably in 2 to 3 weeks going forward.
Cool. What's it meant to you to do those fundraisers too? I know you do the golf charity as well. What has that meant to you?
Oh, it means a ton. Obviously I understand I was lucky enough to have a great upbringing, where I supported and loved and given a lot of opportunity. And so when I decided to do this charity golf outing and the basketball camp, it was just me wanting to give back to a community that has given me so much happiness, that has taken me in, from being an outsider, to being someone that they call their own. So it was extremely important to me, to really give back to the city of Ames, to the state of Iowa, because they had given me more happiness than they would ever have known.
Awesome. Hey, you want to take a couple questions?
Yeah, let's do that. But
all right, cool.
Not from Quinn Cook.
Not from
Damian
Quinn Cook.
Lee.
Okay. This one's from your old Ivy College of Business. They want to know what your favorite part about being a student in the College of Business was.
Well, there's 2 parts.
Okay.
I loved when they gave out free donuts every once in a while. When we walked in. That was always great. It's like a free donut day. You could walk in and grab as many donuts as you wanted. But I think the biggest thing for me was I liked how everyone was approachable in the business college. Obviously, I started off taking business classes as a sophomore. But if I had a question about courses, I had administrators that I could go visit. Their doors were always open. Even the dean's office, was always open to where I could go talk to him and build a relationship with him. And it was just great because I had a lot of great teachers. Ann Clem, was one of my favorites. And she taught accounting 283, 284. It's been such a long time, I can't remember the exact numbers. But she made a relationship with her students, and there was a big lecture, and it was personable. She wanted to see us do great outside of her classroom. So whether she could help us with something that didn't involve accounting or that it did involve accounting, she was always there for us. And, I still keep in touch with her to this day. And just the relationships that I built with teachers were just simply amazing.
All right, I see one that just came in from Josh. He wants to know what your favorite hobby is that somebody wouldn't know about. That's a good one. You have a hobby?
I love to go boating. In the summer, I heard Lake Ogoboji is the place to be. I might have to make my way up there. Life is hectic during the NBA season. It's always on the go. So whenever I have time to be back in Iowa or be back with my family and relax on a lake or a boat, it's usually a good time. So I would say my hobby is either being on a lake or an ocean.
Okay, cool. Eric had a question on Instagram. He wants to know your thoughts on the proposed plan for the playoffs. I guess I hadn't heard an update. What's the most recent update on the playoffs situation?
I think we're going to get down to Disney sometime in July, but specifically, I don't know how. It's going to happen. I think we're going to have to wait till June 1st for that. That to all get sorted out. But I'm excited. I'm excited to get back playing basketball. Someone's saying we missed Quinn Cook's and.
I know. I'm trying to see what we missed. I see.
Best Remy at Iowa State off the court. I would have to say Visha. Visha was probably my best memory before my freshman year. I think my sophomore year they took it out, but it was a good memory of all of us celebrating every college and having a good time, living the college life and partying. And then Damian Lee was, what was your lowest point at ISU, and how did that help you into the person of influence / man that you are today? I would have to say losing to UAB my junior year, being upset was probably the lowest moment, but, it made me realize that everything, isn't given, and you have to work every day extremely hard to get what you want. in this life. And that's what pushed me going forward to handle the adversity of, Fred Hoiberg leaving and being able to have a successful senior year.
So one of the local TV stations here, Channel 13, they're doing a greatest gut punches in Iowa sports history. And I don't know if you knew this, but you're on the commercial for it from the Ohio State game, man. That was a tough one, wasn't it?
Oh man, that was really tough. I mean, just because being a freshman, you kind of get used to the publicity that comes along with being a college athlete, and then the NCAA tournament hits, and that's even more publicity, and then to be kind of the forefront or face of a game of devastation for your team. I really just felt bad for the seniors. We had a lot of guys that had helped build up the program then, and I almost felt like I had let them down, and that was a gut punch. That was really hard for me to deal with. But I think going forward, it kind of molded me into who I was, and made me want to continue to carry the torch of being, a solid representative of Iowa State and continue to bring the basketball program to new heights.
All right. Laura's got one that we can turn the mood around. What was your favorite memory on the court at Iowa State?
Oh, it was definitely beating Iowa, and definitely
the comeback at
Kansas,
home.
Oklahoma, and then the Kansas college game day. Those were all huge. Those are two of the biggest, accomplishments in college and moments that I'll never forget, especially it being at home in front of the greatest fans ever.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we'll do one more question. All right, does that sound good?
Right.
This is from DEG Sci-Fan. You're always so positive on Twitter. Is that natural or a choice? Where does your positivity come from?
I think the biggest thing in life is everybody's going through something, and I always try to choose positivity. I've read a couple books over my years, whether it's John Gordon, The Energy Bus, or The Talent Code, or The Obstacle is the Way. You're going to have challenges in life, and things aren't going to continuously, go your way. But how you choose to react to them is really going to determine how your life ends out. And, things aren't always right in my life. I may be more positive than, people want to see, but that's just who I am. And I just choose happiness over anything. Things could go wrong, things could be tough, but I think as a human, you have that choice to be happy and choose happiness, even though things aren't going your way. You do have the right to say, I'm happy regardless of what's happening. Because at the end of the day, the simplest form of waking up and being able to breathe and walk, that should give anybody the most happiness, because there's people out there that can't even do that. And when I'm having a bad day, I try to realize that. Even up to this point in my life, I've lived an amazing life. Obviously, I want to continue down that path and continue to have a great life, but I've done so many cool things with so many cool people that I should be thankful above anything else, because if something goes wrong in my life, I've had so much good outweigh that negative moment that I could never just sit here and sulk and be negative.
Awesome. Hey, George, thanks for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, and good luck the rest of the way. Continued health and happiness as you go forward. All right, man?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Go Cyclones!
Go State. Hey, just want to remind everyone, too, we'll be on next week with Clayton Anderson, the former NASA astronaut. So, we'll be here at noon next Wednesday. So we'll be talking about the SpaceX launch from that's happening later today, actually. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you next week.